What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. This one's from Arrow Video, and it is Bloodbath. Why did I put it up there? It's so dark, it's hard to tell. Anyway, it's Bloodbath. This is the limited edition version. I'll talk about that a little bit later on and kind of tell you what that includes. This movie is really interesting. It was made for Roger Corman. He didn't like the cut, so he had it recut. He reshot some footage, recut it again, and ended up actually doing another pass on it. So there's actually 4 versions of the movie out there. Operation Titian, Bloodbath, obviously, Track of the Vampire, and Portrait in Terror. They're each vaguely similar, but they do have some differences, enough of a difference to make it worth kind of checking them out if you like the concept of the movie. The movie follows a town that's just filled with artists. Man, everybody there is obsessed with art. Everybody's a hipster. Everybody wants to find the next cool, fresh way of doing art. Nobody wants to do this, the same old thing. That's really frowned upon. You need to be pushing boundaries. In this town, there's a legend of a guy who killed a bunch of women. Then he was killed. He came back as a vampire. And so it's just kind of like a local legend. Well, there just happens to be a guy who lives in the same place that guy lived and has the same name, and he's a real creeper. Women are disappearing, and he happens to paint portraits of dead women. So you can imagine where the story goes from there. This movie only runs about an hour, so it's very brisk, super short. I think the main reason to see this is because there's a guy who is like Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911 crossed with Hitler. He's a super bizarre hipster artist. He uses guns, throws ketchup around, trying to force a new art style. He's super pretentious, which I love. I just thought he was so much fun to watch. Sid Haig is in his crew of hipsters. There's like a trio of them. They add so much comic relief to the movie, and then they also get involved in the chase to protect the women later on in the movie. I just think they add a lot. It's just a lot of fun to watch these guys. Horror wise, there's very little blood, there's no nudity. It does have some kind of gothic visuals and some decent atmosphere. But honestly, I find this to be more of a bucket of blood style movie where it's horror, but it's also kind of comedy. And then it does get a little more serious than Bucket of Blood at times. But I like the fact that they kind of goofed on art and kind of had fun with it while also, giving a little bit of respect. I like all the pretentious hipsters and artists. I just think that stuff's super fun to watch. The performances are pretty forgettable outside of the 3 hipsters who provide a lot of fun and, over the top stuff. Sid Haig is hilarious in this, and as is whatever the guy's name is who plays Dangle Hitler. He's really fun too. The Blu-ray set from Arrow Video. This is the limited edition set. I don't know how limited it is or if it's still available. It's got all 4 cuts of the movie. It's a 2-disc Blu-ray set, and it's got both cuts of the movie, or all 4 cuts of the movie, and then it also has a poster and then a booklet with a bunch of stuff talking about the movie and the people that are in it. It also includes a kind of a look at how how these different cuts were reconstructed for this release, which I thought was really interesting. And once you watch the movie, it's nice to go back in and you can see the other versions and kind of see some of the changes that were made. Jack Hill was involved in some of the alternate footage, as was Stephanie Rothman. So there's a lot of interesting people involved in this production, and it's just neat to see the different visions, even if they're not starkly different. It's just interesting to see the changes that were made, and this release definitely lets you do that. Most of them I think are 2K restorations, so all the transfers look really nice, even for a older low budget movie. And alternate cuts normally don't always look that great, but these all look really good. And it's got a ton of extras. As I said, I don't know how limited this is. I would get it if you can, but knowing Arrow, they'll probably bring out a normal edition that just doesn't have the booklet and the slipcase. And that might be cheaper for you than getting a limited edition. But anyway, overall, I definitely highly recommend the Bloodbath release if you're a fan of Corman horror, Bucket of Blood style stuff. I really had a good time with it, and getting to see all the different versions was just a really cool way to do this release. If you like this review, please do check out my website, markfusion.com. I've got tons of other horror, cult, exploitation, cult, Lifetime movies, video game reviews, anime, animation, everything you could think of. I'm also on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at markfusion. If you like this channel, please do sub. It helps me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate that. And as always, I really do genuinely appreciate you guys watching these videos. Hopefully I'll see you soon.